one of the beautiful things about you is that you free ball. Like you get out and you do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, you'd be in jail. Like that's great timing. Yeah. But it's like that kind of stuff was unheard of as a politician. Like no one had done that. And I think...
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very dangerous business, first of all. It's a very tough business.
It's the most dangerous business.
It's the most, for a job?
Yes. I mean, other than going to war and being a firefighter or being a cop, it's the most dangerous business. It's the most dangerous. Being president is the most dangerous. Especially...
Without even a second.
But you're saying after November 5th, as a elect, you're saying things are going to get done during that time?
I'd like to be able to.
How about Iran and Israel? What about that one?
Well, that depends. A lot's happening right now.
I know.
We're going to have to see what happens.
Okay.
That one is a very interesting one. And it's become more interesting because Israel didn't listen to Biden and her and did what they wanted to do. And I have a little statement. It's called Make America Great Again, Maga, which is the biggest political movement in the history of the country. And we're going to make America great again. And we have to start. We did it, and then we had an interlude. We were rudely interrupted. And now it's happening again at a level that nobody's ever seen before. And I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So if you don't mind, I want to work the French fry counter.
Absolutely. And then you can hang that one right back over there. Thank you. And then we're going to grab our salt. And then just one dump, no movement. Good. Flip over. And then you're going to grab the fry scoop.
Only 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. I'll tell you about TikTok. Trump is going to keep TikTok going, whereas Biden and Harris, they have no idea what it means. And all it's going to do is be good for China the other way. It's no good. We're going to save TikTok. They want to destroy TikTok. So all of the people on TikTok, vote for Trump.
Vote for Trump. An amazing stream.
During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu back to the White House. It's a wonderful feeling and a wonderful event. We had fantastic talks, and thank you very much with your staff. He's the first foreign head of state to visit during our administration, and Bibi, I want to say it's an honor to have you with us. Over the past 4 years, the U.S. and the Israeli alliance has been tested more than any time in history. But the bonds of friendship and affection between the American and Israeli people have endured for generations, and they are absolutely unbreakable. They are unbreakable.
Ready, close. Ready, shut. Face. March.
This is unlike any other meeting between Donald Trump and Netanyahu that we've seen. This is the third that they've had at the White House since Donald Trump retook office. Now, Netanyahu is staying at Blair House, which is the guest house, effectively, just opposite the White House, which is where many heads of state stay when they are coming for state visits. But unlike other visits, we know that Netanyahu was not given the kind of entrance to the West Wing as is customary, or even to the North Portico, but instead he went to the South Portico, which is on the backside of the White House, where Marine One, the helicopter, lands.
The Israelis and their lobby here in the United States will not allow President Trump to allow the Iranians to have enrichment capability. And that has to be the case if you're going to get a deal. There has to be some concession to the Iranians that they can keep their enrichment capability with certain limits, of course. But we can't do that. So Trump is in a position where if he can't do that, he's promised he would bomb Iran. Good luck on that one. That would be a disaster. Trump, of course, understands that. His principal advisors understand that. And he doesn't want to bomb Iran. He wants to work out a deal, but he can't work out a deal. So he goes to Putin and he says, Mr. Putin, would you please help me? Would you please help pull my chestnuts out of the fire on Iran? That's what he's asking for.
And so what's your expectation of what the answer is that going to be from Putin?
First of all, Putin's not going to put any pressure on Iran to make concessions to the United States. It's just not. And if he did, the Iranians would ignore those concessions. It's very important to understand that what the United States has done here through its foolish strategy, both in the Biden administration and the Trump administration, is push the Iranians, the Russians, the Chinese, and the North Koreans together. They all understand full well that the United States is a mortal enemy. I'm choosing my words carefully here. From a Russian, Chinese, North Korean, and Iranian perspective, the United States of America is a mortal enemy. In that situation, you want to work together. You do not want to turn, if you're the Russians, you do not want to turn on the Iranians. And if you're the Iranians, you want to work with the Russians, you don't want to turn on them. So the Russians and the Iranians have a deep-seated interest in working together. And Putin would be a fool to help Trump solve the Iran problem. What would he gain from it?
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
It seems Gaza's future will soon be decided at the West Wing as US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meet for the 4th time.
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I could think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank. $60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it. And they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the President of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in and would do. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here.
more than 2 months since the U.S. military began striking alleged drug-carrying boats in the Caribbean and more recently the Pacific.
I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay?
The U.S. government is yet to provide any information about the more than 60 men killed since September.
Is to understand the legal justification, but also, hear from the president and others. Is this a just cause? Does the defense of the American people warrant this kind of action? The second is it a right authority? That's also a criterion for jus ad bellum.
Pentagon now sending the Navy's largest aircraft carrier strike group to the region, the USS Gerald R. Ford, nearly doubling the number of U.S. forces there and adding to the B-1 bombers flown near Venezuela's coast this week. The Trump administration has accused Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro of heading up the Cartel de los Soles and facilitating the flow of drugs into the U.S., an allegation Maduro has denied.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
Right? But don't worry, because we're just printing more and more money every year so that we can send $21.7 billion of it in military aid to Israel ever since the war in Gaza began. The war in Gaza, right? You never voted for this. In fact, I remember voting for America First. But you're not really America First, are you? If you don't support a foreign ethno-state that spits on Christians, bombs children, and takes your money for their free healthcare programs and the like. You can pick whatever source you want. There's all different sources, but it's not $3 billion, right? Let's get that clear. We always give every year at least $3 billion to Israel. That's the baseline. Okay? But since the war in Gaza has started, it has skyrocketed. And again, you don't need to argue over numbers because it's all retarded. $1 billion is too much. At this point, $100 is too much. At this point, giving anything to the nation that's conducting a genocide is too much. After all, what do we historically think of everybody that helped the Nazis? The worst thing that's ever happened. Ignore Stalin and the communists, ignore Mao, ignore all the other atrocities, because obviously this is the only one that matters. But any dollar sent to Israel is too much while they're killing women and children with them. Duh. How much do you think it would take to end homelessness in America? Obviously a nebulous number, but when you start to look into it, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, they estimated how much. And it would only cost $20 billion, according to our own government, to end homelessness in the United States of America. So for the cost of killing tens of thousands of women and children in the desert, we have chosen not to help each and every American citizen living on the streets. We could have easily done all that here in America and had almost $10 billion left over, according to our government anyways. But who's really counting, right? Homelessness crisis, fentanyl epidemic, people out on the streets, can't walk around at night. No big deal. Because it's really important that we bomb women and children. Obviously, because Hamas